Hey y'all, my name is Yvonna, and you're listening to the Sugar Glass Podcast, the podcast where I allow myself to break free of my perfectionism. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we're gonna use that. Hey y'all, you're gonna hear two intros today. This one and then the one that launches into my conversation with my friend Imani. The reason why you're hearing two today, and the reason why I'm sure that you've noticed that the time for this podcast is a lot longer than any other episode that I've posted, is because instead of chopping the episode in half to make a part one and a part two like I normally do, I'm just going to give it to you all today. And the reason why I'm doing that is because my birthday is next week. And because my birthday is next week, I have decided that I want to do something different for just that week. And I think that chopping up this conversation into two episodes would impede on my ability to do that. So here you go. Enjoy the whole thing. Should I say bye here? I don't know what to do. Hey everybody, this is episode 16 and I'm not alone today. So for Scorpio season, which starts technically next week, but we're celebrating early, I wanted to bring on one of my best friends and also fellow Scorpio, Imani. And I we try to do something every year, Scorpio related. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, you know how it goes. So this is this year's Scorpio thing. So this is also very different for both of us. We haven't done something like this before. So I think that we're gonna have a lot of fun, but I also think that you're gonna have a lot of fun. So yeah, Imani, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. My name is Imani Black. I'm a photographer, videographer, model, a lot of things based in Dallas, Texas. Yvonna and I met when we were in high school. 10 years ago. We met 10 years ago in 2013. So yeah, very happy to be here and very happy to get excited with today's chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Imani is also the reason why this exists, because I was really on the fence about whether or not I wanted to do a podcast and if I wanted to wait for like a potential co-host situation to come about or whatever. And Imani was like, basically, what I heard, it's not necessarily what you said, but Imani was basically like, I'm going to beat your ass if you don't just do this thing because you've been talking about this thing for so long, just do it. And yeah, so Imani is the reason why you've been listening to me for 16 weeks, which is really exciting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So yeah, Imani, how do you feel like perfectionism affects you?
I feel like perfectionism affects me in like so many different contexts. Like I was like, what do you mean? But then I'm like, that's kind of open-ended. Let me just say because it affects me in some areas, in some areas it doesn't. Like I feel like as a creative, um, I've gotten out of the point where things have to be perfect when it
Mm.
comes to like the quality of my work. It's going to be good quality regardless. But like I feel like where perfectionism kind of, can I cuss on this show?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Where I feel like perfectionism like kind of fucks me sometimes is like with my timing. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
perfect timing. Like if I do this perfect time, like this is gonna be happening then and stuff like that. But that's not how life necessarily has to go. I feel like I'm kind of understanding that. Honestly, as of this week, I'm still kind of grappling with this. This is gonna be a forever thing. I'm grappling that this is a forever thing with life, my choices, everything I do. It's not just a now thing. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no such thing as like perfect timing for myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything I do is perfect timing in my sense. That's how I look at it now. And I think the timing has really perfectioning or being perfect at timing has been something I'm like letting go of and stop stressing myself out so much about because it's so draining. I'm like, who is making these imaginary timelines for myself?
Right. Yeah. I really
And
feel
who
that.
is causing all that? Like, I don't, it's me.
I really feel that. I think before I realized that I had an issue with perfectionism, I or like you're talking about how perfectionism makes you have to focus on the now, and it's like, well, if I don't do this, then I can't move forward. And it took me so long to realize how much I was like fucking myself over because I was like, this thing isn't right, and I can't move on. And like it would mess up content schedules, it would mess up me being able to show up for people and like me being able to show up for myself or like moving on to other projects and being able to accept other projects because I was so focused on this one detail that honestly I didn't have control over anyway, but trying to exercise that control was like eating me alive.
Mm. Oof, yes, yes. That last sentence, it kicked me in my stomach because like that is really like what I've been dealing with. Like I've been saying forever I want to be a successful photographer and like my success looks like this. And like if it doesn't, it's not right. Like it's not, I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Like it's null and void. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not successful, but like it just the timing. Like, why am I like? I hate that I've
Yeah.
given myself so much grief about timing.
Yeah.
Is really it.
I think also I was having this conversation with somebody else where it's like because we demonize like old people and because of how inherent like ageism is, we're like if you didn't do it when you were young, then it doesn't matter. And I feel like we're trying so hard to be excited about, getting older, but also we're still fighting with this like I need to have my shit together before I turn 30. I need to have my shit together. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bitch, 30,
Yes.
I turn 30 next year. Like, is my shit not together? In some aspects, no. In other aspects, hell yeah, I'm actually a lot farther than I thought I would be. You know what I mean? And I feel like that push and pull of like that perfect timing also is like thinking about our perfect selves and whether or not that person exists and trying to figure out how do I say this? It's like, am I going to allow myself the opportunity to experience some of this stuff when I'm older? Or am I just going to be so focused on like what did SZA say? Another Scorpio. Um, chasing the fountain of youth, but it's in the present. You know what I mean?
Period.
Like
Yes.
thinking about it that way and just like when will it be enough or when will I be like another I mean every time it's like gets close to my birthday I think about SZA a lot because Scorpio and I feel like Control
Period.
is like such a 20 something album and I'm like I'm about to not run out of time but like run out of time to like have this album like be like so super true for me and I'm like excited that I'm about to age out but I'm also like oh, I can't believe I'm about to age out, you know what I mean?
But who says you have to age out? Like I think that's like,
I
where
think
is
it's
that coming
weird to
from?
sing. Okay, so how do I say this? There's this like trend on TikTok where it's like women turning 30 something. And when they bring out their cake, they'll like take the three off the cake and like toss it and then put a two and then like wink or like be like, shh, don't tell anybody. And it's like, girl, that's not that deep. And like that, I don't want to feel like I'm so obsessed with this time that I honestly probably like you couldn't pay me to be 23 again. You know what I mean?
No,
You
no, not
couldn't.
at all.
You couldn't. So like
I'm
I don't
good.
want to seem like I'm holding on to that when I wasn't having a good time. And I don't want like specifically talking more about SZA, which I don't think I've ever really expressed how much I love SZA on this show, which like it's a missed opportunity. But thinking about like 20 something and how like I I don't want to relate to that when I'm not 20 something anymore. Like I would like to feel differently about my
Yeah.
place in the world and not just because I don't want people to think that I'm afraid of getting older, but because also like I deserve to move forward.
Yes. Okay. And I think my where that question comes from for me as well is like I didn't really listen to the Control album. I listened to
What?
songs from it. I
Girl.
know. I think we talked
Oh,
about this maybe.
yeah, you
So
have to listen to
yeah.
it all the way through, bro. Don't
Yeah.
okay. The deluxe, you don't need it. It's that
Okay.
original, that first release. The deluxe is just it's. She did her thing, but it's not as important, in my opinion, as the original.
Okay. Okay. I got some homework to do. I've had this homework for what, since 2017, basically. You've
Yeah.
been telling me forever.
Yeah,
Um,
I've loved her for a very long time.
yeah, I know some of those songs, and I think there are also aspects of it, like I guess you wouldn't want to relate to. Like, I mean, I know the song The Weekend, like
Mm-hmm.
I've had that experience before. I don't ever want that experience again. So that's
Mm-mm.
something you age out of for
Mm-mm. No,
sure.
your man is your man and my man is my man. Okay. There's no
Exactly,
crossover.
exactly, exactly. Ain't no sharing dick,
What did
bitch.
Lotto say? Yeah, Lotto said two things I ain't with is sugar grits and sharing dick. Come on now.
Period.
Come on.
I don't play.
Mm-mm.
But okay, I guess I get that in a sense. But with the perfect timing, it's just like I think like I'll have my therapist session this week. I see an energy healer, and she's so like she just makes me feel so good. And it's not even like, but we had, anyways, we had our meeting or our session this week. And we were talking about like timing because I was telling her earlier this year, I'm like, is it weird that I'm thinking about the future? Like, I'm like, why I want to do things now that will benefit me when I'm 50. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I need to like keep walking, keep exercising. Do I have to be so
Mm-hmm.
strenuous about it? Like 40 days a week or not 40 days a week? Like, you know, so many hours a week. It's like, no, it's forever. Like, and I need
Mm-hmm.
to do something like whatever my body goals are, whatever, what they are. But it's like, I need to do something that I'm going to stick with and like,
Mm-hmm.
makes me happy. And I like to do yoga. I like to do like other things. I don't want to have a gym membership forever. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just not how I see my life. Like I want to live a healthy, active lifestyle, walking, yoga, doing gardening, like, you know, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that versus
Mm-hmm.
like jumping up and down like a maniac, like 3 days a week
Mm-hmm.
at the
Mm-hmm.
gym. Like I
Mm-hmm.
hate it. But you know, I've just been thinking a lot about those things and like that's I think perfectionism when it comes to like time is where I really struggle. But when it comes to like me being perfect or like other everything else, it's just like to me, I feel my perfect is imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I don't I have a I saw this TED talk years ago. It's like perfection is not a human trait. And ever since then, it's kind of like it's released a little bit of what is the word? So much anxiety about me being perfect. Because, like, who am I being perfect for? I'm perfect right now. Like, I'm perfect to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and what is perfect? Like, yeah, white tea. I don't know. Like, what is perfect? My perfect is me, honestly, is how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
My perfect is what I do. My perfect is my essence. Like, if we want to use that word, perfect is me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I am who I am, despite, like, look, my wig lopsided. I got this, I got that. Like, you know, like I'm still perfect. Like I'm me.
I feel that. I think that when I think about perfectionism and I think about like the perfect me is not somebody who I am. And that's like my thought process. Like the perfect me is like the me that is not wearing sweatpants at 2 p.m. on a Friday. You know what I mean? And not me that like, forgot about an assignment and had to ask for an extension. Like when I think about perfectionism, I think about like the bitch that has the ducks in a row and like
Mm.
knows what's going on. And in a lot of ways, that is me. Like right now, I'm working on a project. One of my friends asked me to be her interior designer, and having a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
I, we were hanging out a few weeks ago, and I was like, I want you to give me the money so I could do something at your house. And they were like, what? And I was like, let me show you. So we had bought Sour Patch Kids. So we were just eating Sour Patch Kids in their backyard. And I was pointing and I was like, let me dig a fire pit right here. Like the people who had the house before left a bunch of like bricks. So I was like, let me use all these bricks to build you a nice fire pit. And my friend was like, I actually really want my backyard to like not look like this. And I was like, wait, because I have a friend who just moved back to North Carolina, who is a like trying to start a landscaping business, and like we could work with them if you wanted this to realize. So earlier today I just met with them. We went and like
sat down and went over this plan. I'd like drawn a plan out for the backyard, and we had like gone through this timeline of like my friend wants to put a stock tank pool in their backyard before the end of the year, and they want to heat it so it's like similar to a hot tub. So like we're talking about this timeline, and like we're going over all these things, and I'm like, I'm planning somebody's landscaping right now. And it
That
feels like
is so cool.
weird. It feels, thank you. It feels really weird because I'm like, I didn't picture myself as me doing that. Like I thought that I like certain things about me would be different before I would be able to do stuff like that. And it's like strange, like people have been coming to me like asking me like for advice across, I guess, the things that I'm good at, and they're asking me for support. They're offering to pay me. And I'm just like, first of all, like, I don't think that my Instagram really displays that I can do all of the things that people are asking me to do. So I'm like, what have I done? Because in my mind, the perfect me would have like completely updated and functional website, would have a very relevant Instagram feed, not just pictures of my dog and like random pictures of my couch every now and again. So I'm like, what is it that like, what is it about my lifestyle that people see and they're like, oh, you know who can do that? Yvonna can. And Yvonna can do it fucking well. And that, I don't know, it's like putting me in this like mode of conflict because I'm like, I feel like I'm missing so much, but I'm still getting the things that like I want. And then I'm like, am I missing that much, or am I just being hard on myself for no reason?
You know, from what it sounds like you're definitely being hard on yourself for no reason. Every version of you is within you right now. Every
Right.
version. So
Right. And
it's
that's
like
my
you are
favorite and
supposed
least favorite
to.
truth. Because it's like, so you're telling me that like the bitch who gets up at 4 a.m. already is here somewhere? Because that doesn't feel true. But then it's like, why doesn't it feel true? Like, what is it like? What about my lifestyle versus what about my mentality? Like, which one is actually in my way? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you definitely sound I sound it sounds to me like you're definitely being hard on yourself because like I think we just who is that person? That is a made up person. And
Exactly.
it's good to have dreams of yourself, but not to the point where you're so hard on that, like not feeling that you're not deserving right now. Because if you weren't, nobody would be hitting you up, bitch. Like
Right.
like
Exactly.
nobody would be like, That's how I felt too. It's like I'm getting comma clients. That's what I like to call them because the invoice got a comma in it.
Period,
And it's
queen.
like I just started getting that this year. Last year, like the amount of money I made last year as a photographer and even years prior trumped within by the middle, I would say by what is this, the ninth month or the 10th month of the year, like trumped four times over, so many times over, a million times over in what I've learned and who I am today. But it's like I know that I'm valuable. I'm worth it. It's like if I wasn't, it wouldn't happen. And even if
Right.
it wasn't happening, like I'm still worth it. It's just has the opportunity presented itself. Is the timing like the timing beyond what's in my head, the timing that's and what's actually laid out for my life and what I'm curating and creating for my life, the time is right. It's now. I'm
Yeah.
perfect as I am.
Right. If not now, then when? And if not me, then who? Like,
Period.
like trying to like feel, I don't know, like I've had so much in my life change in the last like year that has been, I'm just like, it's just completely different. Like 6 months ago, I wasn't doing any of the stuff I'm doing right now. And then 6 months before that, even, you know what I'm saying? Like my life has changed so rapidly in such a short amount of time in a way where it kind of, I I think I'm still in shock. Like, and there are things that I've been doing for months that I'm still just like, oh shit. Like when people ask me like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, and they're like, wait, for real? I'm like, yes. Like
You're
I've
literally
been
one of the coolest people I know. I sent you that
I
tweet earlier this week. I was
I
like,
don't
this
feel that
literally
way,
made me
bro.
think of you.
I literally don't feel that way. Like I think also I spend so much time with me. So like I don't feel like, because you're not the first person to say that. Like one of my friends the other day was like, I can't remember what we were doing. And they were like, I didn't know that you were like wavy like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And like realizing how like, it's like when you room with somebody, like you have a roommate and like you spend a lot of time together, and there are two things that can happen. Either you're like, I love you so much and I will never love anybody as much as you, or you can start getting frustrated. And sometimes like those things like flip and flop, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes it's like that with myself where I'm like, I don't feel like the coolest person. I think I've had so many people tell me they're like, literally will use the word cool to describe me, and I'm like, bro, I'm really just a normal, like, I put my bra on one titty at a time, like
Silly. Oh my
like
gosh.
like I don't know how else to like say it or like explain it, but it doesn't. I think that's also the thing about perfectionism, is because I look at earlier this year, somebody hit me up asking me to read tarot at their birthday party, and I ended up not reading tarot at their birthday party because they were like, actually, the plan for my party has gotten a little out of hand and I think it'll be too rowdy, but I still want you to come. And I was like, okay. And I've admired this person for a while. I found them on Instagram and we happened to live like nearby. I didn't realize, it took me a while to realize that like we are like not down the street from each other, but essentially like a stone's throw away. And I look at her life and I'm just like, I like that bitch is living. You know what I'm saying? But also like I understand that she's curating to show us what she wants to show us. And I get that, I really do. But also she has some really cool opportunities that I'm just like, well, what I would give to like have somebody consider me in something similar and be like, oh, what you doing? You want to help? You know what I'm saying? So like I'm at her birthday party and I'm having a great time. I don't feel out of my element. The only reason why I felt a little out of my element because it was the only time I've ever gone to a birthday party by myself. And that was like, it was just a first. I normally show up with at least one other person to all my parties. So I was there by myself and I was like, well, ain't nothing to do but to make friends. So, I'm making friends, exchanging phone numbers, whatnot. And we're about to cut the cake. And they're like, how old are you? And she was like, oh, I'm 36. And I was like, wait. I was like, what? And then it like dawned on me that like part of, because I thought that she was like a year or two older than me. Like I thought that she was like 30, 31. So when she said 36, I was like, it made me feel so much better. Because it's not like, I don't describe how I was like looking at her as like jealousy, but more so I was just like, damn, like I'm behind. She's 8 years older than me. And that gave me like so much like peace because I was like, okay, like honestly, yeah, that not only means I can do it, that means that I'm probably on my way to like having my life feel like I would like to imagine her life feels for her. And that gave me so much like joy, and also just like made me feel so much less like uncool because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm 28. Like it's good. I'm 28. You know what I mean?
That's the best part, is you are who you are, where you are as well. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I've been thinking about stuff like that and just like you're talking about like thinking about the future, like how far in the future. My partner, he's like, I've never seen anybody change their life as much as I've seen you change yours. And I feel like I just feel like I'm sitting in the same spot I was 6 years ago. And I know that's not true, but that's how it feels. And I'm just like, he's like, you're always like, all right, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I didn't realize how abnormal that was until like I started to like lose some friends who never ask what's next. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you like touch on that a little more? Like, what about them not asking what's next made you like not really fuck with them anymore?
Um, I am very, how do I say this? Um, I love my life. I love my apartment. I love the way things look for me, but I'm not going to be here for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I think
Same.
that I have, these church bells are going off. I think that I have like a very clear vision of like what's possible. And I think that some people have a tendency to either think small, which like it is what it is, and or they like, I started this group chat with a bunch of my like Instagram followers and like a bunch of people I know in real life, for us to share home decor stuff, so I'm not just blowing up my story. And
Aw.
there was a person in there, I don't know if they're still in there, who would just say stuff like, I'll never own a house. It's like, we're literally here, we're all manifesting together. Like, that was like the point of this, is like, you
Yeah.
show me what excites you and it expands my brain, and vice versa. And like, this person was always like, basically like, I'll never afford, I'll never. And it just got to the point where all of us were like, bitch, don't say that. And they just like, I think that it was more so not them changing their mind about what they had access to, but it was more so them tired of hearing us tell them, like, we're only here to speak highly and to speak positively. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, I think that some people are just like, I understand that like the housing market is the housing market, and that we live in a capitalist society, and that things are fucking scary. But at the same time, like, if you don't want it, you ain't gonna go get it. And I like can't be around people who don't want to go get it. And it doesn't have to be like, I don't aspire to like be a billionaire, because I think that that's fucked. But I aspire to feel good, and I aspire to have freedom. And I think that some people are just okay with not feeling good and not having freedom. Some people love to suffer more than they love anything else.
Oh
And
my
those are the kind
gosh,
of people that
yes.
like were really hard to be around, the more that I started to enjoy my fucking life.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. I definitely get it. I definitely get that. I was also going to touch on like something you said earlier too. Like you were saying like the word people describe you as is cool and all that. Like I definitely describe you as cool as well. Like that's one of my favorite words for you. And like it's just your essence, it's your aura, it's who you are. It's just you. Um it's just you. I don't know. That's just how I see it. I'm like, I'm just me. I'm me. That's really cool. That's the coolest part about everything is like, I'm me. I get to be me. I get to do what I want. We get to manifest houses and stuff. Like, we get to think about these things. Like, if we didn't, I feel like we would be vegetables. We're like just negative ass people.
Yeah.
God put us here. We're here for a reason. We're here to want more and aspire to more as we progress. Like, it's natural. I used to feel bad because I'm like, oh, I got this new camera in 2016. And then it's like, okay, it's 2022 and this camera fucking sucks and I need a new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that's part of capitalism and stuff like that, but damn it, I'm gonna enjoy the game. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna live,
No,
laugh, love.
right.
And so, like, I think it's just a natural part of like life and progressing and wanting more and more. And it's like, I didn't think like last year I met someone like through Instagram and all, or through the internet basically, and we connected. And he's a successful photographer, and like he was talking about like he's working for like this company, companies that I aspire to like partner with, and of course, he's told me how much he's made on invoices and things like that. And me, I'm over here still charging $100 an hour. I'm like, ugh. I didn't even know this was like possible. Like I didn't know how lucrative things were. But speaking to him, all last year we had like long ass conversations where he was basically coaching me. And now that I think about it, like it was just conversations to me, but I'm like, I was asking him questions. I was pulling his knowledge out of him. So like at the beginning of this year, when I finally got my chance to have a comma client, I didn't know I had that. Like I wanted those things that he was talking about, but I didn't know how soon it would happen. I was like, that's in like 3 years for me, 4 years, or like, he's been doing this for 15 or 20 years. So it's like it can't happen that quick for me. But it's like, no, it literally showed up at my front doorstep. And I wasn't ready. I didn't know what to do. So guess who I consulted? My friend who even put it in my head that this could happen. And it's just like, and he always said to me, he's like, I know you're gonna go far. You're gonna make it because you ask questions and you listen and you do it. You act. I see you. I hear you. You ask more detailed questions each time we talk, and we'd be talking for 4 hours sometimes. So it's like, like if it wasn't, I got my, or excuse me, if I when I got my first comma client, the comma I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I just like, and I made up that word and I was like, that little phrase, I'm like, I want comma clients this year. And I've gotten them. And it's like, wow, I'm so like proud and blessed. And it's just like, wow, I'm still grappling with this success. Like, this is a version of a success for me. That's what I
Yes,
see.
exactly.
Yeah. That's what I'm starting to understand and like know that about myself. I'm like, okay, I still want to do big things. Of course, I want to do commercials
Yeah.
and editorial and things like that. But like right now with where I am, this is so perfect. Things I was doing when I first started taking my photography seriously in 2017. Like each level is a graduation to be where I am now. And because I have that fire, I was gonna say that fart. I have that fire. I have that fire in me. I got it. Like I just have to do it. Like it's in me. It won't go away. Like I put down photography. I would be serious here and be serious there. Like it was a hobby. Like it's my passion, but it's like I never thought about it being a business. But
Right.
with
Yeah.
me, like combining like my previous brand, which was Day with Dallas, and which I focused on like cool things happening in the city with the people, places, and topics. It's like I'm kind of merging all my interests, and it's like photography was still involved in that project, but now to just shut that down and just have this and be focused on it, I see the power in focusing on one thing at a time, and then I
Yes.
also see the power in like using your gifts. Like these are gifts. Like what you
Yes.
have, people are asking you to do, it's because it's a gift. You're not Walmart. You're not Sam Walton. He just wanted to make some money. Yeah, or and I think that's the founder of Walmart's name. Like, like we get to do these from a space of pure passion versus like it not being necessarily about money, but we know it's gonna make us money because like we ain't gonna do this shit for free all the time. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
done stuff for
Mm-hmm.
free. I ain't even
Mm-hmm.
gonna cap. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
in it doing it still. Like I feel like I ain't doing shit for free this year. That was my thing. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, doing some stuff for free will get you to the bigger doors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
You
like
have to
it's
be
levels to
strategic
it.
about what you do for free. Like you
Exactly.
can't just do everything for free.
Like literally we talked about this last year, the art gallery, and I was so messed up because like I was like, I'll do it for free. And then I was like, wait, I don't want money. And that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear to God, like everything I thought was gonna happen from doing that has happened. I've seen so much success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I've made so much more money than I could have made from that little amount I was asking. And they don't
Mm-hmm.
even that coffee shop ain't even open no more. Them people don't even work
Right.
there. Like
Right.
it's
Like
just
your
like
spirit team put in work, you know? Like I feel like I think about that a lot because I feel like sometimes we get so caught up in who didn't pay us that we don't think about like how that has prepared us to get paid like in the future. You know what I mean? Like I very recently have like started to book more tarot things, and it's weird because like most of the way that I learned how to read and the way I learned how to do all this stuff was just like asking my friends if I can practice with them, with their dreams, with all these things. And then like having these moments where like people are calling me, asking me, can you read tarot at this event for me? Yeah, I can. Like, how much do you charge per person? Like, can we raffle this off? Like all of these like little things. And the last event that I did, I don't think I undercharged, but I'm like, I had so much fun doing that. But at the same time, I think that I would charge more, like, period. Like, I just feel like
yeah.
I think for that's the last like time that it cost that much to access me. Not that I didn't
Yes.
charge enough, but like that was a bookmark. That was a checkpoint. And now we're
Yes.
moving, like my price is going up. And like the worst thing about the price going up is being afraid of like, well, now some people aren't going to be able to afford, but then it's like the people who can't afford me right now don't need my message right now. And I used to feel so weird about like people having like inaccessible prices for mystic things, but I'm like,
Mhm.
if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like it's not for you right now. And like trying to figure out at what point like is it okay to just move forward and move past my free stage, or do I need to be prepared mentally and like financially to dabble in my free stage so that I can make more connections and then I can build these relationships with people. So just like, oh, you know what? I don't have shit to do that day. Let me come through. Let me do it. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
will that, like, not like will I regret it, but like I'm very, very blessed right now to feel like I don't have to like be knocking down people's doors being like, remember that one time you asked me if I could do this thing for you for money? Are you ready now? Because I need money. Like, it's not like that. It's literally just like, hit me up when you're ready and I'll let you know if I'm free. And that feels, it took a really long time to be able to get here, and it feels really fucking good.
That's a good space to be. Like, that is a beautiful space to be. And I think, like, when you were saying like like the price being that last price for you, that's the last one. I've had moments even like that this year where it's like I did raise my price, but it's like I still provide, like I know like I'm worth more, I can do more, I know what I'm capable of, and the service and everything. So it's like I feel like we graduate. That's just what it is. And we graduate throughout the year and throughout the day sometimes, And also, when you said that like your last time doing something for free or knocking on doors and things like that, I totally feel like if it is not a hindrance to you, it is okay to do some stuff for free. Like, and it's about your perspective. For sure. It's each person has their own perspective. Like if you would have told me last year to do something for free, I would say no. Because I was
I'd be
so
like, fuck
burned.
you.
Yeah, I was burned. And so like, but me saying no to those things, I'm sure they were bullshit anyways. I'm 100% sure it was bullshit. So like to now be in a space where it's like, I don't feel so like nobody asked me to do stuff for free now. I offer for free sometimes. Like I wanted to do some photography for this lady. I did it for free because like I don't know, it's just like the connection. It was worth it to me. Now I'm working on this project with her. That's going to be bigger next year. Like, you got to give sometimes to get. And it's like when it's not about money so much, like it is about money and respect and boundaries, of course, but it's like when it's not all of that at once and it doesn't feel like it hurts you as a creative, as a talented person who's offering their skill,
Right.
then I don't see the problem with doing something so you can gain a lot. Like,
Right.
do what you got to do. Like, my first photo shoot was $30. $30. And that girl had me out there for 3 hours. So I got paid $10 an
$10 an
hour.
hour just for that, though. Not even for the labor afterwards of like
Not the gas
editing
either, because
and
I lived in
sending.
Dallas. Yeah.
Bro. Oh
That
God.
was my first photo shoot.
When I think back, I'm like, why you do that? Why? Like,
It's okay. Like,
but
as we grow, like it's so funny to even say that now because now I don't even know the math, but I charge way more now. I get comma
period.
clients now too. So it's like,
Right.
I didn't sacrifice or lose anything from that experience. So
Right.
even though it don't sound right, like you got $30 for a photo shoot when it should have been $30 an hour at least, that don't hurt me. It just helps. It helps.
I feel that. Literally, I was talking to my partner's aunt last weekend because she's an executive director of a foundation, and she was asking like some general questions about this thing that she wants to create for the organization. And I was like, oh, I used to do this like when I was director of programs. Like, this was my shit. So like we could talk about this for real if you wanted to. I was like, these are my suggestions off rip, but like if you want to talk some more, invoice. And she was like, how much do you charge? And I was like, for consulting I normally charge 75 an hour. And she was like, that's it? And I was like, not if you want to pay me more. And she was like, girl, I charge 150 an hour. And she said that there's a minimum that she does. So like she doesn't get paid any less than, I think she said like $500, something like that.
Period.
For
Yeah.
everything that she does. And she was like, it's okay, girl, we'll get you there. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I was just like thinking about how because when she was like, I charge 150 an hour, I was like, okay, TT, but you got more paper than I do. Like, you have more degrees. She has a doctorate. And I was like, one day, but that's not me today. So I
Right.
feel like it's weird for me to charge the same. But then at the same time, I'm like, why do I feel that way? Like, just because, like, education, I do very much like enjoy my position in academia, but also
Right.
like I was doing some of the stuff that like gets presented to me through academic spaces outside of those spaces because that was the path that I'm on. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, at what point is it like experiential knowledge? When am I going to start counting that when I start putting together these invoices? If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I think it just matters like when you decide. Like it's when you decide. You can charge 150 today for your consultation and say, I need 2 hour minimum, babe.
Girl, I'll tell you off air. Um, because I think when it's time to announce this thing, I want it to not just be like in passing. Like I want to be like, all right, everybody. Welcome to my
Yes.
channel, so we'll talk about that later. But let me just say I calculated my worth and it's there's a couple commas in it. And I cannot wait to tell you more about it.
Yes.
But yeah, when you were talking about your future, specifically you were talking about like your health, but do you ever think about other things like future wise? Like I think about like my house or like what country or what city, and I think about like dogs, and I think about like if technology does not innovate past today, like what would I have like a projector in this room, or would I have a TV out by a pool? You know what I mean? Like I think about stuff like that
Yeah.
all the time, and like how much time would I spend? Whenever I think about my future, I don't think honestly about like the community around me, which I've been trying to figure out if I feel a way about the fact that my brain doesn't immediately go there. But I think also I have definitely been and felt isolated from my community like a lot in the last few years
Right.
because of the
Well,
pandemic.
COVID, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like kind of hard to imagine what it would be like to integrate myself into a community, especially like at a different age. But I always think about like my house and like my like studio. Do you ever think about stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. I do want to say, like, just first and foremost, just because like I think about health first because it's like
You need
or
that for
vitality. It's like
everything.
if
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be here or if I'm feeling terrible while I'm here, like that really affects everything.
Hmm.
So like me, I'm over here sick right now. I'm like, fuck, I hate this. It's affecting this interview. Ugh. But yeah, when I think about the future, I think about my career. I think about like my future family. I know I want a family. I see myself being so patient with my family. Like that's really what I'm like. That's just what I'm thinking about today. But it's like I see myself having the ability to be so patient with my family. I'm not stressing about money. I'm not stressing about my health. I'm not stressing about like day-to-day things that I feel like I stress about right now on my own as a single young lady. And it's just like I see myself just having the patience and the freedom. I think freedom is the word. And that
Hmm.
ties into that, the freedom. Like when I think about my life and what I see for myself, it's about freedom. I want to have the freedom to just start a garden with my daughter or my son and like go on a trip as a family on a boat just randomly or like not randomly, but like plan it out and go and actually like execute the things that we talk about instead of
Hmm.
like stressing about money or like
Hmm.
different things. But I think, yeah, I see family and I see like freedom, like just having that. I guess freedom is just, it's more of the key words I think I see or that I think about first is like freedom, being independent, being in love, feeling loved,
Hmm.
loving someone else, loving the people around me, not just my family, but also my community. Like
Hmm.
I want to be somewhere where I'm happy, my husband's happy, my children are going to be able to be in a good space. And when I think about how can I do that, it's the things I'm doing today, taking care
Hmm.
of myself, making good choices, the stuff I can focus on right now that will be
Hmm.
able to have that vision I see for myself. Because I mean, I do want to. I of course I've clearly said I want a family, but it's like I want like the career too. But I want the
Hmm.
career to like not be so like so much so where I can't give that love and community in
Hmm.
my community, my people around me every
Hmm.
day. So that's a lot of what I think about for sure.
Did you watch Rugrats growing up?
I did.
Do you remember Charlotte Pickles? How like she was always on that phone.
Yes.
Jonathan, like that is like at one point I think that was aspirational for a lot of different kinds of people. Like her being like semi-present, but also her being like about her shit. You know what I mean? But I feel like what you're describing is like the opposite. It's like, why are you calling me at my house when you know me and my kids are playing in the dirt? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Why are you
Like,
calling me when you know I'm painting this week? I told you I'm painting this week. I'm gonna get this painting out, or I'm gonna do this photography book. I gotta,
right,
it's like I want
right.
those big things just already kind of in motion and I'm able to chill. It's like it's still big,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't
That,
have to be so
yeah.
like I am right now.
Yeah. I think when I think about like my career and like what I want to do, I don't see myself like going to work. Like I know that that sounds like the fuck, but like
Wait, you said you do?
I don't see myself going to work. Like, and
Oh, okay.
also
No, that's
the
normal.
worst thing is like me, like the vision that I have, this is like in like 5 or 10 years. Like this is not me like 70. You know what I mean? This is like me
Right.
35. Like I don't want to clock in nowhere. And
No,
I feel
period.
like on one hand, it's like, well, what are you doing today to make it so you don't have to clock in tomorrow? And I'm like, sometimes I don't feel sure that I'm doing enough to make sure I don't have to clock in tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And then on the other
Yes.
hand, I'm like, I'm not trying to exhaust myself now, period. Like I'm trying to figure out how to have a balance. And I hate when people are like, what's your dream job? I mean, I'm like, oh, I don't have a dream job. And like the worst part is the way they live, like, bitch. Like, because I always look at you like you don't want to contribute to society. And it's like that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like I don't want one thing to be my sole livelihood. I just got finished experiencing that with
Yes.
like within the last few years of these organizations that I was working for. And like when I mean, I set myself up so that I was able to resign and like take that break and be fun. First of all, I love being fun employed to an extent, but after a certain point, I'm like, it's so boring. It's so boring. Like
Yeah.
after like week 4.5, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like it just feels so gross to me. So like I don't want to do nothing, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to have my salary come from this thing that like if I don't give it all of my attention, that means that my entire life could crumble in front of me. And like
Yes.
I don't think that people examine that, or I think that the beginning of people examining that more is like happening, but like the way that we were like pushed into like careerism is not the
Yeah.
kind of careerism that I like aspire to. Like I don't feel like I need to like go from being the janitor to the CEO. Like I
No.
don't think that that's necessary in order for me to be happy. I don't think that's necessary in order for me to make a difference, and I don't think that's necessary in order for me to be creative.
Yeah. See, I feel the same. Like in the next couple of years, like I'm not gonna be working for someone. Honestly, I have a kind of inkling. I'm gonna just go ahead and claim it. I feel like next year, if I don't move, I'm still up in the air about moving. But like if I don't move, or maybe even if I do, like I feel like I could be not employed, what is it? Self-employed by next year.
Mm,
And it's kind of a scary, but also a very real thought because it's like, I want my freedom. I want to be an artist. And that's my dream job. Like me, I'm
mm-hmm.
art. I'm the artist. I'm doing what I want. And I don't want to think about it all the time from such a monetary perspective. Like, I just want to do some free stuff here and there, But it's like, I want to be an artist. Like, that's why I'm like, I want to paint. And if
Mm-hmm.
I sell it or I do a show or I have my own gallery with my husband, like I
Mm-hmm.
want to just be an artist and be creative, but not have it be in such the lucrative, like snobby aspects of it. It's just like, it's just who I am. I'm a creative. Whatever I do next, like I'm just gonna want to create all my life, honestly. Like that's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel.
Yeah, that's exactly. I feel that so much. I literally I took a really long break from making art because I lost so much of it,
Yeah.
and I'm like getting back into it and trying to figure out like is this what I want? Like is
Yeah.
this am I making things that I'm proud of? Am I making things that I feel like sometimes I make things and I'm like, "Ooh, like that came straight from my mind's eye." And other times I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" Like just so confused at the thing that's in front of me. And I feel like part of like wanting to do art, there's this home tour. I can put it in description box, and I can also send it to you, where it's like this woman who has like rented her house for like 48 years, and she's got a studio in there, and the way she talks about her practice, that's how I want to be. Like, I want to be like, yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
And then that's like it. Like, she's like not like super like, and here you'll find, like, she has like a few things where like the backstory is like really beautiful and she shares it, but most of her things she's not pretentious about. She's just like, I like to do it, so I do, and I wanted to
Oof.
work bigger, so I created this thing so that I could work bigger. She's a printmaker, and like the way that she talks about it is just like, I wanted it, so I gave it to myself. And that's how
Yes.
I think that it should be. Like, I wanted it, so I gave it to my fucking self. And I'm like, am I giving it to
Yes.
myself right now? You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't
Yeah.
know if the answer is yes.
Does it always have to be yes? I think you give it to yourself in other ways each day still.
That's very fair. I think that this is one of the ways that I give it to myself. It doesn't like, I think
Yeah.
because it's not like a physical thing that I can hold and pin on a wall, it doesn't always feel like that. And also because of the nature of this, which is the goal is to just do it. It doesn't matter how it gets done, it just has to get done.
And I
And
love that.
it's it be sometimes I listen back to episodes and I'm like, delete it. And I'm like, no, I can't delete it. Like, the point is not to delete it. Like,
Yeah.
the point is just to do it. Like, there are definitely episodes that I've had to re-record because I'm like, this is supposed to be public. I can't. Like, sometimes I do treat it like a diary, and I'm like, oops, like that little too much and not as mysterious as I need it to be.
Yeah.
But this thing existing and like keeping up with this thing it's been an interesting like practice, and I'm trying to figure out like, how many things am I going to allow to live in the state of just like practice, like with no need for expansion? Like, I just get to do it every day. It's like, you know how some people, they're okay with Folgers coffee and an old coffee pot, and then some people need an espresso machine. I'm trying to figure out like, what parts of my creative aspect do I want to upgrade from my coffee pot to my espresso machine?
Wow. Do you think that like it's something you have to decide right now?
Oh,
You
fuck
know?
no. I think that it's going to take me so long. Also, because I think that it'll get decided in stages.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I think that one day, like, you know, I used to be a photographer. When's the last time I picked up a camera? I couldn't fucking tell you. You know what I mean? So, like, if I pick that back up, how long am I, like, will I stay at the coffee pot stage forever just because? Or will I be like, you know what? I'm tired of this point and shoot. I want to do something more intense. And, like, figuring out which parts of my life. Like, I feel like that way about interior design. I feel like I had the coffee pot aspect or approach rather for a long time until like earlier this year. And people started approaching me, and I was like, oh, it's espresso time. Like, it's time to look at this
Yes.
differently, you know,
I think
like
it's about your
supercharged.
passions too. Like I'm passionate about, photography, like in the way that you're passionate about interior design. It's like different things. There's different periods where we're passionate about things too. Like I'm starting to understand that. Like I've been sorry, did you hear that Teams
No,
chirp?
no, you look
Just ruined my mood.
traumatized.
Oh my God, it ruined my mood. Let me just
uh,
flip real quick.
it's okay. We're about wrapping up anyway. So I figured whatever profound thing you were about to say, probably one of the last things that gets said today.
Okay. Um, I lost my thought. Sorry.
Okay, the moral of the story is work sucks. The moral of the story is work be doing stuff to you. I really feel that though. I think you were talking about how photography is your passion, and I had just said the thing about like upgrading like my approach to a hobby as something that like
Yes.
might be more sustainable for me.
Yeah, that's really literally that explains like how I had to approach photography. I've been in love with photography since I was a kid. But 2016, I was like, these motherfuckers, I'm doing photo shoots and stuff for free. And people
Mm-hmm.
charging, I'm paying motherfuckers to take photos of me. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm better at this. I mean, I'm better. I'm passionate about it. I love it. I'm these are things that I see in my future for myself. So why am I not
Mm-hmm.
acting on it in a more serious manner? So I started
Mhm.
taking it seriously. I started learning about Adobe Lightroom, Photoshop, taking this stuff more seriously. And I think it's just a gradual thing. It was a gradual thing for me because it was like it was a hobby, and I would get paid photo shoots here and there from like forever since like 2018. 2018 was my first paid photo shoot.
Mhm.
And it's like I would get it was a hobby though, but it's like I love it. And just like in 2020, really I would say about the end of last year though, when I got my new camera, is when I really started taking things like from it graduated from a hobby to something I
Mhm.
could see something sustaining myself. Like
Mhm.
we're I just told you I think I could be freelance or not freelance,
Self-employed.
self-employed next year. That's huge. I see myself making six figures from my business as a photographer and being myself. Like I see those
Mhm.
things in my future. My homeboy who I had those long conversations with, he don't work. He
Mhm.
works as a photographer and content creator. So it's
Mhm.
like I see this. So it's like it's visible to me. So it's
Mhm.
like it can happen for me too. Like it's levels and it's graduations, you know?
Mhm.
We graduate when we level up our minds, when we level up what we feel is possible for ourselves. So it's like, yeah, your interior design business, who knows, next year, like that could, even this month, I don't even know. I'm just saying, like, anything is possible. Like,
Mhm.
that's what I
Anything is
feel. And
possible.
it's like, I'm going to think about what's possible in the best way. Like, what I want is the best way that's possible. And just
Mhm.
do it. Like, I did not know I would be making comma clients. Like, I didn't know I would be
Mhm.
having comma clients this year. I thought it was like 2 years from now.
Mhm.
And it happened this year. And I had to buckle the fuck up and
Mhm.
just keep going and get returning client. I think it's about so much. And we get to choose is the perfect part about all of
Yeah.
this. Like that's the exciting part about it for me today. I will say I have like periods where I'm not so upbeat and things like that. But I've been sick this week. I went through a breakup recently. Like I'm just like I feel like a lot of things are like happening and it's like
Mhm.
it's warping my mind back to like thinking about the things that actually really matter and are super important to me right
Mhm.
now because like just life is so beautiful. Like, why am I stressing about something? Like, why am I
Mhm.
stressing? And then, like, there's this girl, her name is Cleo Soul. I
Mhm.
listened to one of her songs recently. It's from her album Cleo Soul, I think is the name of it, self-titled album. She would say if I had just a gist of what she said with her
Mhm.
beautiful voice. She said, if I could give myself some advice, it would be to just stop stressing and don't be so hard on yourself because
Mhm.
it's so crazy. You feel this way. We make ourselves feel this way.
Mhm.
And it's like, it only hurts us. No one else. I mean, it only hurts us, but then it hurts other people eventually because it kind of festers out because we feel a certain type of way. Like I told you, I was feeling angsty and then
Mhm.
you know, but it's
Mhm.
like, it's about us. Like I would not be so hard on myself. Like
Mhm.
I just won't. I refuse. Like I'm working on it now to be that way. Don't be so hard on yourself. It don't matter in the end. It's like you're gonna do it when it's right.
Yeah. I literally I've been telling some of my friends like I one of the things that I'm working on right now is something that I've wanted since the dawn of time, and it's coming really easy to me in a way that makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Oh,
And I
oh man,
know
I was not gonna did not think you were
I'm
gonna
like
say
I mean I'm doing well and like receiving a lot of praise and making a lot of connections, but I'm like there's no way I'm doing this good.
that.
Like how the fuck is it like it feels too easy to the point where I'm like I think that I'm missing the fine print. Like I think that there's something that I'm not fucking paying attention to that is going to bite me in the ass in the worst way and ruin my life. So it's making me sabotage myself. And there's this phrase that apparently nobody fucking knows. Every time I tell somebody this, I'm like, they're like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, "Girl, I got the yips." They're like, "The fuck are the yips?" The yips are it's
Please
like
elaborate.
when you're playing baseball and you previously have had like really great games, like home run after home run, batting average just like through the roof, and you are either about to break a record or you're playing against a team that you lost to like in the past. When you go up to bat, pitches that normally you would just eat, you're fucking up, you're striking out. Like you got the yips, like you're in your own head, you got the yips. And yeah, I got the yips. So like some of the stuff that I've been doing, I've been like, I can't do it. Or just like just feeling so disconnected from the ability to do it, even though like I've done it before, I've done it twice, I've done it thrice, but now
Yes.
I got the yips. And yeah, I've just been like dealing with the yips lately because I'm like, okay, you have nobody to answer to but yourself. You need to stop stressing. And the amount of time that you think this is going to take is the amount of time you will take. So if you tell yourself it'll take an hour, you'll get it done in an hour. If you tell yourself it'll take you all day, you're going to take all day. And
Yeah.
trying to like deal with what that means, because it's like, it's not my fault, but it is my responsibility. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. That's the power of being who we are and you being so cool in who you are. Like we have the power to choose. And what is it? Free will. We have free will.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I understand what you just said. It's so funny though. I would say like, well, my rate is what it is. I just increased it recently because I'm just like, I need more and I do more and like I
Mm-hmm.
added more value, so that's part of it too. But like
Mm-hmm.
my thing was like, I was like, okay, my standard is 2 weeks for my photography. After the photo shoot, you'll get your photos in 2 weeks. That was it. It was no like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But I studied what's happening. Clients want stuff like quickly. Like if it's an event, why are you waiting 2 weeks to deliver photos? That's stupid. That's
Mm-hmm.
not good to me. And I had to learn that literally this year. These are mistakes or like learning lessons rather. Why am I taking 2 weeks to give somebody pictures for an event? Like I get it
Mm-hmm.
does take time, but like 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
because the 2 week part is what kills me is I always wait until the day before to do it anyways. And I knock that
Mm-hmm.
shit out like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect and it's beautiful and I'm good at
Mm-hmm.
it
And
because I
everybody's
love it.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's why my rate went up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna increase my rate and I'm just gonna get it back to you in 5 days. Or like for events, I do it now where it's like you get 10 photos within 24 hours, and then you get the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the photos within like 72 hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I'm quick about it. Like, and I just want to get it out the way anyways. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, what's the point of me having a 2 week for like certain types of things, or certain photo types or photo session types, when it's like, no, I wait till the day before anyways, or 2 days before. So it's like,
Right.
why not just already pay account for that and just do it
Right.
quickly?
Why not do it the way that my brain wants to do it anyway? Like, why am I trying to
Yeah.
like fit into this like weird structure? I don't even know where this came from. Like, where this like notion
Yeah.
that it has to be this way. I couldn't tell you where that was rooted in, but
For me,
it
yeah, I
doesn't
know
have to
where it
be
was
that
rooted
way at
from.
all.
Yeah.
It does not have to be that way at all.
Yeah, it's just from me seeing like other photographers say, and like me doing photo shoots before, like I don't expect it immediately because I'm like, it just takes time, is what I've expected as like, someone who's modeled before and I've paid for photo shoots and it's like it's 2 weeks normally. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm quick about it and I don't like waiting. So it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
no, increase your rate, get paid for that,
Mm-hmm.
account for it already because you're gonna
Period.
do it quick regardless. Now, if
Right.
I got a queue, I'll like adjust it. But right now I haven't had that issue yet where it's like I have a queue of like multiple photo shoots that I need to edit and stuff like that. But like I'm quick about it. I love this. Why not put that passion and just let it shine? So I have like happy clients who are going to end up being returning clients. And
Right.
I get to keep doing what I love and keep building, keep growing.
Right. That was beautiful. Do you have anything you want to promote? Imani's coughing. Imani wants to
Excuse
promote
me.
heart health and lung
Yes.
health.
Yes, heart health, lung health. Don't go outside in crop tops when it's getting cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like me, y'all. But I would say I just want to promote like love. Like I feel like that's the root of it for me is like I love my life. I love who I'm becoming. I love who I am right now. And I love who I was despite my mistakes and things like that. And I want people to like really just start loving themselves. If we
Mhm.
loved ourselves more, I think the world would be just a better place. But not love ourselves from such like a
Like
self-centered,
narcissism. Yeah.
yeah, from a self-centered way, but love ourselves as who we are. Like I'm imperfect. My wig be
Mhm.
lopsided. My contact fell out the other day. My AirPod, it's so embarrassing when your AirPod falls and it shoots across the room in public and it's like, damn, I gotta wait till I get home to clean this motherfucker. Or am I really gonna wait or am I just gonna rub it off anyways and just put it back in my I don't know. But like I'm me though. Like if we just accept ourselves and have that self-love in ourselves, I think it would really help so many people. We would be like, the world would be a better place for sure. But I think it definitely starts with each day and the actions that we take with ourselves and with our community, people who are
Mhm.
around all the time.
Mhm. That's so real. What'd you say earlier? Perfect is not a human trait. I think that some people feel like they have to be a certain person before they're even allowed to love themselves. And I don't think that
Yeah.
that should, I don't think it should be as common as it is, but alas.
It's American society, it's our society and how a lot of things have been portrayed to us as well. So I understand because I've had to fight that too. I'm still fighting it. Like some days, I mean, like I said, I've been sick and I went through this and that last week and all this and that. But today I feel good. Like I told you earlier this week, I was like, I don't, or yesterday, I'm like, I don't know how I feel. But I got mustered up a fuck and mustered up some energy and got my ass up here. And I'm just like, oh, the sun is shining. I done
Right.
knocked out stuff off my checklist. I recorded a YouTube video. I posted on Instagram. Like, like you just have to do it for yourself because you have to muster up a fuck and all that for yourself because don't nobody care
Don't
except you.
nobody care. Except for, yes, it's you that you're doing it for, and it's you that's suffering when you don't do it. I think that that's
Yes.
perfect. I think that's perfect. Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Sugar Glass Podcast. You can leave me a voicemail at my hotline, or you can talk about this episode, a past episode, or you can ask for advice. That phone number is 910-448-6899. If you're a little shy, you can always send me an email at sugarglasspodcast@gmail.com. Please rate, review, what else? Subscribe to support the show, and we'll see you. You'll hear from us. Whatever. Bye. Thank you again.